The first signal from the Galactic Empire arrived without warning. It crossed human space in seconds. Every screen, every station, every world received the same message. The Galactic Empire had arrived, and it promised destruction. The message showed massive fleets, endless ships filling the stars, weapons glowing, power beyond anything humanity had faced before. Other species watching from afar expected panic. They expected fear. They expected humanity to beg or prepare to surrender. But that did not happen. On Earth and on distant colonies, humans watched the message quietly. Leaders gathered. Soldiers stood ready. And many humans smiled. The smile was small, almost calm, but it was there. The Galactic Empire noticed. Their commanders watched human reactions carefully. They saw no riots, no chaos, no desperate evacuation. This confused them. The Empire had destroyed dozens of civilizations. Every one of them had reacted the same way. Fear first, then collapse. Humans were different. A meeting was arranged. A formal first contact. The Galactic Empire demanded obedience. They demanded tribute. They demanded submission. Human representatives arrived. Simple ships, simple armor, no show of force. The alien commanders stood tall, their forms massive and armored. Their voices filled the chamber. They spoke of power, of conquest, of the fate waiting for humanity. They promised fire from the stars. They promised erased worlds. The humans listened quietly. One alien commander stopped. He stared at the humans. He saw relaxed faces, steady eyes. Some humans smiled again. The alien commander felt anger. He believed the humans did not understand. He repeated the threat. Slower, louder, still no fear. The humans thanked the Empire for its honesty. They said humanity would consider the message. The alien commanders laughed. They thought this was weakness. After the meeting, the Empire began its plans. They expected fast victory. The first attacks were small. Border stations, remote outposts. Humans did not defend them strongly. They withdrew. They abandoned positions. The Empire grew confident. Reports showed little resistance. Human ships avoided battle. Human worlds fell silent. The Empire believed the smile had been false. They believed fear had finally taken hold. But inside human space, something else was happening. Old fleets were being moved. Ships long hidden powered on. Crews trained quietly. Human commanders studied ancient records. Old wars. Old failures. They spoke of endurance. Of patience. Stories were shared. Not myths, but lessons. The Galactic Empire saw none of this. Their fleets moved deeper. Their supply lines stretched. Time passed. Human resistance remained light, almost careless. This worried some alien officers. They had seen this pattern before, long ago, but their warnings were ignored. The Empire believed humans were slow, divided, afraid. On one distant world, a human soldier watched alien ships pass overhead. He did not fire. He did not run. He smiled. Back in the alien command chambers, the human reaction was disgust. Why did humans smile? Why did they not panic? Some believed it was denial. Others believed it was ignorance. No one believed it was confidence. The Galactic Empire advanced further, setting the stage for total conquest. And humanity continued to smile. Not because they were weak, not because they were blind, but because the first phase was complete. Part 1 ends with the galaxy misunderstanding humanity, and that misunderstanding becoming the greatest mistake the Empire would ever make. The Galactic Empire pushed deeper into human space. Their fleets moved in perfect formation. Systems fell one after another. Human resistance stayed quiet. The Empire celebrated early success. Commanders praised the speed of conquest. They believed the humans had already broken. Reports showed empty stations, silent cities, abandoned defenses. The Empire called it proof of fear. But some alien officers felt uneasy. They noticed something missing. There were no last stands, no desperate counterattacks, no chaos. Humans were leaving too cleanly. Supply fleets followed the invasion armada. Long lines of ships carrying fuel and weapons. The Empire expected no trouble. Yet delays began to appear. Small delays. Easy to ignore. A supply ship vanished. Then another. No distress signal. No wreckage. The Empire blamed navigation errors. Human space felt strangely empty. No traffic. No signals. Only silence. Silence stretched nerves. One alien scout reported strange readings. Old human satellites reactivating, then disappearing again. The report was dismissed. The Empire reached a major human trade route. Once busy, now deserted. Alien commanders laughed. They said humans had fled. But in the shadows, human units watched. Small ships. Old hulls. Barely armed. They did not attack. They followed. Human commanders spoke in short messages. Simple words. Hold. Wait. Move. Every unit knew the plan, even if they did not know the whole picture. The Empire advanced again. Confident. Then communications flickered. Signals slowed. Orders arrived late. The Empire blamed distance. A human colony near the front lines sent a message. Open and clear. We acknowledge your presence. Nothing more. The Empire expected surrender. But no surrender came. The colony went dark. Alien forces landed, finding empty streets, powered-down buildings. The colony was abandoned. The Empire marked it secured. Hours later, strange failures began. Power drains, sensor errors, minor explosions. Nothing critical, just enough to distract. Human ships struck supply convoys, never staying long, never taking losses. They hit and vanished. The Empire commanders grew annoyed. They ordered stronger escorts. Human attacks continued. Small, constant. Time passed. The invasion slowed. Human space felt endless. Each system taking longer than expected. Alien crews grew tired. Repairs increased. Morale dipped. The Empire began to realize they were spending more than planned. Human commanders watched carefully, adjusting movements, never rushing. On a distant world, human leaders monitored progress. They saw the Empire exactly where they wanted. Phase 2 was working. Alien scouts finally discovered something alarming. Human shipyards far behind the front lines were active. Very active. The report reached high command. Panic followed. How could humans build while retreating? The Empire rushed forward, hoping to end the war quickly. They pushed deeper, stretching lines further. Human space closed around them. Small human fleets gathered, not to attack, but to block retreats. The Empire did not notice at first. When they did, it was already late. Alien commanders ordered regrouping, but communication delays slowed response. Human interference grew stronger. The Empire began to understand. The smile was not fear. It was patience. As Part 2 ends, the Galactic Empire realizes human retreat was never surrender. It was an invitation, and they had walked straight into it. The Galactic Empire finally sensed something was wrong. Their fleets were deep inside human space. Yet victory felt distant. Systems behind them were quiet. Too quiet. Alien commanders reviewed maps again and again. Routes that once felt clear now felt narrow. Supply ships arrived late. Some did not arrive at all. Human space was empty. But it was not dead. Alien scouts reported strange movements. Small human ships appearing at the edge of sensors, then vanishing before contact. The Empire called them ghosts. Human commanders watched every move. From hidden stations, from deep space relays, from worlds long thought abandoned. They did not rush. They waited. Old human doctrines were activated. Plans written generations ago, meant for enemies larger than humanity. The Galactic Empire still believed size meant control. The first real sign came suddenly. A massive supply hub failed. Its reactors shut down without warning. No attack, no explosion, just silence. Alien engineers could not explain it. Within hours, 3 more hubs failed. Across different systems, too far apart to be coincidence. Panic crept into command channels. Human interference spread. Communications delayed by seconds. Then minutes. Orders arrived too late. Fleets moved where the enemy was no longer present. Human ships never stayed. They struck sensors, navigation beacons, fuel depots, always retreating, always choosing when to be seen. Alien crews grew exhausted. Sleep cycles broke. Nerves frayed. Human space felt endless. Each system draining more time. Some alien officers suggested withdrawal. They were ignored. The Empire could not accept retreat. Not after such a confident beginning. Human leaders expected this. They had counted on pride. Deep in a hidden system, human fleets gathered. Ships old and new, patched together, armed for endurance, not speed. Crews shared stories, not to inspire, but to remind. They spoke of patience, of letting enemies move first, of choosing when to strike. The Empire finally launched a full push, hoping to force a decisive battle. Human space answered with silence. And the traps began. Navigation data shifted. Jump points misaligned. Ships arrived scattered. Human fleets struck the isolated groups. Quick, precise, never staying long. Alien losses mounted. Not catastrophic, but constant, enough to shake confidence. The Empire tried to reorganize, but every regroup took longer than planned. Human units blocked corridors, forcing detours, burning fuel. Alien crews whispered now about the human smile. They understood it differently. The smile was not confidence. It was certainty. Human leaders watched the Empire stretch thinner, each movement slower, each decision heavier. Phase 3 was unfolding. A key alien fleet finally pushed too far, crossing into a region humans had left untouched. It looked empty, safe. Human sensors activated. Space shifted. Minds hidden for years awakened. Old weapons fired. The fleet lost ships instantly. Survivors scattered, running into human strike groups waiting patiently. The Empire screamed for help, but signals were jammed. Human ships surrounded the survivors, not destroying them, only disabling. The message was clear. You are not trapped by force. You are trapped by time. Alien Command finally understood. Humanity was not defending territory. They were shaping the battlefield. Every retreat, every smile, every delay, it had all been planned. As Part 3 ends, the Galactic Empire faces a truth it cannot ignore. Humanity is not reacting to the invasion. Humanity is controlling it. And the war is only just beginning. The Galactic Empire no longer spoke of victory. The word disappeared from command channels, replaced by calculations and concern. Their fleets were scattered across human space, cut into pieces by distance and delay. Each group isolated, each waiting for orders that arrived too late. Alien commanders argued quietly, voices low, confidence gone. They reviewed the invasion again, trying to find the moment it went wrong. The beginning looked perfect, overwhelming force, clear superiority. Yet now the Empire felt surrounded, without seeing the enemy. Human forces remained unseen, but always present. Supply shortages became critical. Fuel reserves dropped. Repair crews worked without rest. Human strikes continued. Never large, never final, just enough. Alien crews began to fear silence more than attack. When nothing happened, it meant something was coming. The Empire ordered a consolidation. All fleets were to pull inward, closer together. Human commanders expected this. As alien fleets shifted, human units adjusted, blocking routes, closing gaps. The space between stars became narrow. Alien scouts reported new problems. Human signals appeared everywhere. False fleets, fake commands. Sorting truth from deception became impossible. Human leaders shared brief messages. Hold. Wait. Pressure. The Galactic Empire tried to strike back, launching search and destroy missions. They found nothing. Human ships refused open battle. This angered the Empire. One alien admiral demanded a decisive engagement. He pushed his fleet forward aggressively. Human commanders watched. They allowed the advance. The fleet entered a system long abandoned by humans. Or so it seemed. Sensors were quiet. No defenses. No movement. The admiral declared success. Then the system woke. Human stations powered on, not weapons. Sensors. Human ships appeared from hidden angles. Not attacking, just watching. The admiral ordered fire. Human ships vanished. Moments later, engines across the alien fleet failed. Not all, just enough. Formation broke. Human ships returned, striking key vessels. Command ships. Relay ships. The admiral lost control. Panic spread. Human forces withdrew again, leaving damage. Confusion. The Empire recovered the fleet. But the cost was heavy. Morale dropped sharply. Alien officers began to question the war. Not openly, but in private. The Empire leadership sensed this. Fear of internal fracture grew. They ordered a show of strength. A public threat broadcast across human space. They promised annihilation. They promised final victory. The message reached human worlds. Humans did not respond. They continued their quiet work. Shipyards increased output. Training accelerated. Civilian traffic moved deeper into protected regions. Human society shifted. Calm. Focused. No panic. No celebration. The smile remained. Alien spies tried to understand it. They failed. One spy finally reported a theory. Humans were not afraid because they had accepted loss. This terrified the Empire. An enemy that accepts loss cannot be threatened. The Empire attempted negotiations. Not peace, but dominance. Humans responded politely. Briefly, they asked for time. The Empire granted it, believing delay favored them. Human commanders smiled again. Time was their weapon. While talks continued, human fleets repositioned. Traps tightened. Alien fleets found fewer escape routes. Every system now connected to human control. The Empire tried to withdraw some forces. To regroup, human units blocked the paths. Not fully, just enough to slow. The Empire began to feel trapped. Alien leadership realized a painful truth. The invasion had gone too far. Retreat would be costly. Advance uncertain. They were caught between. Human commanders reviewed final options. They did not rush. They waited for the Empire to decide. Pressure built. Alien officers argued openly now. Some demanded total war. Others demanded withdrawal. The Empire hesitated. And hesitation was exactly what humans wanted. As Part 4 ends, the Galactic Empire stands at a breaking point. Not defeated, not victorious, but slowly losing control, while humanity continues to smile, knowing the hardest part of the war is almost over. The Galactic Empire reached a moment it had never faced before. Uncertainty. Their fleets were still powerful, their weapons still deadly. But confidence had faded. Orders came slower now, not because of damage, but because of doubt. Alien commanders waited before acting. They asked questions. They demanded confirmation. Time passed. Human commanders noticed immediately. This was the shift they had prepared for. Human space felt calm, almost peaceful, but beneath it everything moved. Shipyards worked without pause. Crews rotated. Supplies flowed smoothly. Human civilians were informed, not with fear, but with clarity. They were told to trust the plan, and they did. The Galactic Empire attempted one final strategy, a massive show of force, all remaining fleets gathering for a single decisive strike. The goal was simple: overwhelm humanity, force surrender, end uncertainty. The Empire announced it openly, broadcasting their intent across space. They expected fear. They expected panic. Human worlds watched and smiled, not loudly, not proudly, but knowingly. Human leaders met in quiet rooms, not to argue, but to confirm timing. The decisive strike was coming, and that was exactly what they wanted. The Empire fleets began to move, slowly, carefully. Every jump was checked, every system scanned. This caution cost time. Human forces repositioned again, closing corridors, tightening control. The Empire did not notice. Their attention was forward, toward imagined victory. Human commanders issued short messages. Steady, measured, hold, wait, prepare. The Empire fleets entered a dense region of human space. rich in resources, valuable, tempting. It looked like a perfect target. Human resistance appeared light, almost symbolic. The Empire pressed forward. Then communications fractured. Not cut, but delayed. Orders echoed back late. Responses overlapped. Fleet coordination weakened. Human ships appeared, not in strength, but everywhere. Never enough to fight. Always enough to distract. Fuel consumption rose. Engines overheated. Repairs multiplied. Human strikes focused on one thing: time. The Empire realized too late. They were being slowed again. Frustration turned into anger. An alien commander ordered an aggressive push. Ignoring caution, ignoring delays, his fleet surged ahead. Human sensors tracked every move. The fleet crossed into a system marked long ago. Prepared quietly, patiently. Human defenses activated. Space itself seemed to resist. Navigation failed. Jump exits misaligned. The fleet scattered. Human ships struck fast, targeting command vessels. Not destroying, disabling. Panic spread. The rest of the Empire fleets tried to assist, but distance and delay made it impossible. Human forces withdrew once more, leaving behind confusion, damage, fear. The Empire recovered the fleet, but it was broken, not in ships, but in trust. Alien officers openly questioned leadership. The Empire leadership felt pressure from within, not rebellion, but hesitation, and hesitation weakened them more than any weapon. Human commanders saw it clearly. The Empire was no longer unified. The final phase approached. Human leaders sent one message to the Empire. Simple, calm. This war does not need to continue. The Empire debated the response. Some demanded refusal. Others urged acceptance. Time passed. Human forces held position. The Empire delayed. And every delay tightened the net. Alien supply levels dropped. Crew exhaustion grew. Repair capacity strained. The Empire understood now. They were fighting an enemy that did not rush. An enemy that measured victory differently. Human commanders prepared contingency plans. Not for victory, but for endurance. They were ready to lose worlds. If needed, the Empire sensed this. And it frightened them. An enemy with nothing to lose cannot be controlled. The Empire finally made a decision. They ordered a pause, a halt to advances. It was not retreat, but it was not attack. Human commanders smiled again, not because the war was over, but because the Empire had done the one thing humanity needed. They had stopped, and stopping meant thinking, and thinking meant doubt. As Part 5 ends, the Galactic Empire stands still, trapped by its own hesitation, while humanity waits patiently, knowing that the moment an empire doubts itself, it has already begun to fall. The Galactic Empire stood still for the first time in its long history. Fleets waited, weapons powered but unused, commanders unsure. Space felt heavy. The order to pause echoed across the Empire. Some officers felt relief. Others felt shame. They had never stopped before. Human space remained quiet. No celebration, no counterattack. Just waiting. Human commanders watched from deep space stations, from hidden relays, from worlds prepared for loss. They did not rush. They never had. The Empire leadership demanded answers. Why had humans not attacked? Why had they not pushed for victory? The question haunted them. Human analysts predicted this moment long ago. They knew the enemy would stop, because fear always arrives before defeat. The Galactic Empire sent a final message. Not a threat, not a demand, a question. Why did humanity smile? The message reached human leadership. They read it in silence. A response was prepared. Simple, direct. Humanity smiled because the war followed the stories. The Empire did not understand. Human leaders expanded the message. They said humans smile when plans unfold as expected, when enemies behave exactly as history predicts. The Empire commanders felt cold. They realized they were not facing reaction. They were facing design. The Empire asked what humans wanted. Human leaders answered honestly. They said they wanted space, time, and memory. They wanted the Empire to remember this moment. The Empire asked if humans would strike if they withdrew. The answer was calm. Humans do not chase retreating enemies. They prepare for returning ones. This answer frightened the Empire more than threats. Alien officers debated endlessly. Some argued withdrawal. Others demanded final assault. But the pause remained. Supplies ran low. Crews grew tired. Repairs slowed. The Empire felt its power leaking away. Not through battle, but through time. Human forces remained steady, ready to endure months, years, generations. Human civilians continued life. Schools taught old stories, stories of patience, stories of survival. Children learned why humanity smiles at danger. Because danger means choice. The Galactic Empire finally issued new orders. A full withdrawal from human space. It was not announced as defeat. It was called a strategic realignment. But everyone knew the truth. Human forces opened corridors, not to attack, but to allow escape. The Empire fleets moved slowly. Carefully, human ships watched, never firing. This restraint confused the Empire. Human commanders explained it simply. Fear teaches better than destruction. The Empire left human space changed. Their myths broken. Their confidence cracked. Human leaders recorded the war, not as victory, but as lesson. Another story to be told. Far from the front, a human veteran watched the stars. He had lived through older wars, seen similar pauses. He smiled softly, because humanity had done what it always did. They endured. The Galactic Empire would return one day. Stronger, angrier. Humans expected that, and they would be ready. Because the smile was never mockery, never arrogance. It was acceptance. Acceptance of sacrifice, of patience, of survival. The galaxy would whisper about this war, about how humanity did not panic, did not beg. They smiled, and the Empire never forgot why. The story ended, but the lesson remained. Never threaten a species that smiles when promised destruction. The end.